Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for our Village of Alsip board meeting. Today is May 3rd, 2021, and we'll call this meeting order at 7:31. Can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Trustee Dalzell?
Here.
Trustee Zielinski?
Here.
Trustee Juarez?
Here.
Trustee McLaughlin?
Here.
Trustee Murphy is absent this evening. Trustee Nava-Esparza?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. We'll start with the officers' reports, starting with mine. I want to report that I did two things. Both of our cash loan stores here in the village have both closed, or will be closing. The Speedy Cash store that's at the corner of 111th and Cicero closed up the other day. We did have contact with their landlord. Roger, they said they're going to pay their rent up until October, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so that's when their lease was good till? And at that time, it would probably be available through their landlord to whomever. So for right now, that's why they boarded up the store. If anybody saw that, they're closed up over there at 111th and Cicero, right in the corner. And I got a notice the other day from Title Max at 119th and Pulaski. They will be closing up May 15th. And they don't cite any reasons why. It looked like a consolidation of some type, but it looked like majority of their Illinois stores are going to be closing. So both of the cash stores are going to be closing. Cash loan stores will be closing. So should we decide to do anything after that, as far as, I know they weren't always a real popular concept, but that's certainly a board decision if we want to put in kind of restrictions on anything new like that coming in again. We should talk about that next week at the committee meeting next week then too. Next, Cook County today, I got a couple of notices just saying that, well, first off, this week is known as National Small Business Week. We know that all our small businesses locally and nationally have struggled during the past year due to the pandemic. Cook County has worked closely with our regional small business community every step of the way to aid the response and recovery plan to rebuild stronger. Cook County's COVID-19 small business assistance programs, otherwise known as Survive and Thrive, expand your customer base through marketing, and they're going to have a couple of webinars coming up. One starts tomorrow at 9 a.m., and you can visit them on cookcountysmallbiz.org. They're also going to have a webinar available to discuss what they call their Rrf Fund. And what that is the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. It's launching, and this fund is launching, and if you're in the food industry, you need to be ready to access the funding for the first 21 days of the application period. The Small Business Administration will fund applications where the applicant has self-certified themselves as a small business owned by women, veterans, minority, or economically disadvantaged individual that meets the eligibility requirements. That's going to be on May 6th this week at 9:30 a.m. For an informative webinar providing information on eligibility, required documents, calculations on funding, and application review and process. And again, you can go to cookcountysmallbiz.org for that information. Last, Cook County is offering walk-in vaccinations here in the south suburbs from Monday through Friday, 8:30 till 5 p.m. Anyone aged 18 and over can go to the Tinley Park Convention Center. They're offering the Moderna and the Johnson & Johnson shot. And anyone 16 and over can go to South Suburban College in South Holland. They're offering the Pfizer vaccination at that location. Next, last week, on the 27th, the Cook County Clerk, Karen Yarbaugh, declared the following people to serve as Village of Alsip elected officials from 2021 to 2025. That's a 4-year term. Next week, we'll have a swearing-in ceremony for myself as mayor, Renee Harding as clerk, Monica Juarez as trustee, Catalina Nava-Esparza trustee, and David Peretta trustee. And certainly tonight I wish to thank both Clerk Petzel and Trustee Zelinski for your representing the village for the past 4 years. Thank you very much. And first on your agenda this evening, you had the approval to have the village attorney draft a 6B tax incentive for approval of a 6,600 square foot extension to the existing structure. They currently have a 6B incentive at 4857 West 115th Street, and also that's actually Betts Precision Tool. It's actually a machine company, a tool and die company. Second on your agenda was approval regarding RFPs. That's request for proposal submitted for the redevelopment of property owned by the Village of Alsip at 11638 through 11658 South Pulaski. And what I put on the agenda was letter A, was approval of the RFP request for proposal submitted for the redevelopment of what I just said at 11638 to 58 Pulaski to become a firewater barbecue and brew, constructing a new 6,000 square foot strip center that breaks down to 3,600 square foot of restaurant with 127 seats, plus outdoor seating next to a 1,200 square foot Naperville Diamond Gallery jewelry store next to a 1,200 square foot Salerno's Italian takeout restaurant. That's what was written in their submittal that we received last week. Letter B was the approval of the same RFP request for proposal submitted for the same property at 11638 to 58 South Pulaski to become a standalone Starbucks drive-through coffee shop, constructing a new between a 2,200 and 2,400 square foot facility at that location. I guess the best way when we get to our consent agenda, what I was going to ask was that the clerk, let's see, these are letters
B, A, and B, B.
Gotcha. Okay. So under letter B, we'll ask for maybe a consensus between letter A and letter B to decide which one we're going to vote on then too. Okay? Because obviously we want to make it fair, but we'll have to narrow it down to which project we're going to vote on.
Excuse me.
Just take one or the other?
No, take a
the whole thing
vote,
off.
consent agenda, and vote, and do a
just
separate
vote them
vote.
separately? Okay, Joe.
Thank you, Attorney Kinker.
You'll have to vote on it.
Right.
Right.
It might be split, you never know.
Thank you. Okay, so then we'll move on to the clerk's report.
Thank you, Mayor Ryan. First is the approval of the minutes of the April 12th, 2021 committee meeting. The second is the approval of the March 2021 FOIA report. There were 33 requests in the month of March and more than that last month in the month of April. Third is the approval to hire one full-time seasonal personnel for a period not to exceed 14 weeks at a rate of $13 an hour. And letter F was the approval of the revised board schedule based on Mayor Ryan's comments of last week. There is an error in the schedule that was included in the packet. There is actually 4 meetings still listed in July. So what Mayor Ryan had suggested was in June doing a board meeting on the first and the third Monday of the month and only one committee meeting on the second Monday of the month, and that would follow suit for July and for August. So that is why the dates have been revised. And then it would be reevaluated going into September, is what Mayor Ryan had stated last week. So, and that is all I have under my report, Mayor Ryan.
Okay, thank you. We have the attorney's report. We have Joe Kinker with us. Joe? Right. Thank you. The engineer has been excused from the meeting this evening. We're in the public forum. Did anyone in the audience wish to address the board tonight? None? All right. Then we'll move on to the standing committee reports. Finance and IT, Trustee McGlohorn.
First, I have a request for approval of a list of payroll dated April 23rd, 2021, totaling $433,333.92. Next, I have a request for approval of accounts payable dated May 3rd, 2021. From the recap, General Fund, $202,914.76. Road and Bridge, $10,440.47. MFT, $5,866.62. Pulaski TIF, $2,163.20. Water and Sewer, $15,461.67. Heritage, $38,470.01, for a grand total all funds of $275,316.73. Next, I have a request for approval of the March Treasurer's Report. Then I have the request for approval of an ordinance amending Chapter 18, Taxation, Article 5, Hotel and Motel Occupancy Tax of the Municipal Code of the Village of Alsip. And then request for approval of the Capital Asset Policy. And finally, request for approval of a finance intern at a rate of $13 per hour. And that's all I have. Mayor.
Very good, thank you. Next, we have the Fire Committee.
It would be either Trustee Dalzell or Trustee Juarez, please.
The motion to approve the ordering of the replacement ambulance. The motion to approve the purchase and ordering of the Road Rescue Type 3 ambulance for cost not to exceed $250,000. Fire Services with a lone bidder, and the bid meets or exceeds the specifications requested. Anything else, Chief?
Nope, that's it.
I did have one thing to note. Chief Stasinski and I spoke before the meeting last week, and when we opened the other bids, there were 3 bidders, and 2 of them did not include a bid bond. I reviewed the bid packages submitted during the meeting, and again, after the meeting, there was only 1 of the 3 that had included the bid bond. Chief Stasinski, I had a brief conversation before the meeting, and if Chief Stasinski, could you explain?
Correct. So both ambulance and the mini squad had the specification on the website. I'm sorry, the bid notice on the website. When we added the bid spec onto the website, for some reason, the notice was removed from the mini squad. 2 of the 3 vendors got the spec from the website instead of picking up packets, so they wouldn't have known that that was on there.
But you have spoken to both of those bidders, Chief Stasinski?
Correct, and if whoever's the winning bidder, if they haven't put in for the bid bond, they'll be more than happy to do that as per our request.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief, if I remember right, too, the last ambulance we bought was cost-wise similar, I think, right?
Right. What's the difference with this one is the last one we reused the power load. We just had to buy a power cot. Now we're buying a power cot and a power load, so it's about $15,000 more just because of the power load.
Okay. And again, we're not going diesel again, too, is
No,
it?
yes, yeah, we won't do diesel again now, as long as they have the emissions and the DEF system on there. That's plagued a whole lot of problems with our past ambulances.
Okay. And I'm sorry I don't have the bid with me right now, but now Ford or Chevy, or what are you using?
Ford chassis, just like we have in our last ambulance.
Okay.
Chevy got out of the ambulance chassis business again.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Police and Traffic Safety, Trustee Dalzell.
No report this evening, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Next, Public Work and Boat Launch, Trustee Juarez.
I have an approval to post the hiring for 1 full-time Class 2 operator for Public Works Department. This hiring is due to the resignation of a Class 2 operator. Posting will be in accordance with ASME union contract before advertising to the general public. And also for the month of April, the boat launch collected $2,280 for the launching and parking of boats. That's all, Mayor.
Very good. All right, thank you. Next, Sewer and Water, Trustee Navas Barza.
Thank you. I have approval regarding proposed FY 2022 water rate ordinance. And what I'm trying to do is make a motion to have the attorney review the current proposal and draft an ordinance. And since our next meeting is a committee meeting, the board would be able to make an amendment if needed. And that's all I have.
So you want to just add that on to the request on her is what you're asking?
Yes.
Right. You know, part of that too, Trustee, and I know I sent out some options to everybody. Did you want to,
I didn't.
you want to do that? How do you want to do that?
Well, I haven't had a chance to touch base with you to see what the other committee members responded, and I did submit my response. So,
Okay. So maybe if you want to put that inclusive, like we can talk about it next week's committee and figure out which option you wanted to take advantage of. If we wanted a discount for seniors, or if we want to do seniors and commercial, or nobody, that kind of thing too. Just, we can talk about it next week and have that on the agenda for a special board meeting to approve.
that's fine.
Okay?
Would
Because
you
I know,
repeat-
Danny, we got to get that done before May 1, correct? I'm sorry, this is May 1. What's June 1, rather, right? For the water rate thing, right? Okay.
I'm sorry, Trustee Esparza, could you repeat the language you want added?
It's okay. I have like seasonal allergies, so sorry if you couldn't understand me. Motion to have the attorney review the current proposal and draft an ordinance. Since our meeting is a committee meeting next week, the board would be able to make an amendment if needed.
Do you have that written out?
Yes.
May I see your?
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay. I know she's got your
It's okay.
agenda.
That's it, that's
Anything
it.
else on your report, though, too?
That was it.
That was it? Okay. Moving along, then we'll go to Building and Health, Trustee Zelinski.
No report this evening, Mayor.
All right. Human Resource and Insurance Committee.
That would be either Trustee Zelinski or Trustee Juarez.
No report this evening, Mayor.
Next, the Special Committee reports, Economic Development, Trustee Nava Esparza.
I'm scrolling up.
Oh.
No worries.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Let's see. I'm almost there.
Here,
Okay.
I'll take it back when you're done.
Thank you. I have an approval of an ordinance authorizing the execution of a sales tax sharing agreement by and between the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois, and Lenny's Gas and Wash, 127th and Costner, LLC, for approximately 3.94 acres of land located on the southeast corner of 127th Street and Costner Avenue in the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois. And I also have a motion to adjust the economic development intern hourly rate of pay from $12 to $13 per hour. The adjustment is requested so that the rate of pay is the same as the seasonal hourly employee pay rate, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Yeah, we've had the intern worked a couple days last week, and I'll see her again tomorrow then, too.
Okay.
We've got her actually, we've established, Becky's got a log, too, so I'll share that with the board every month as far as what she's been working on and stuff then, too. So we've got all that logged in, hours and projects and stuff like that then, too.
Awesome.
Next, and by the way, too, in case anybody didn't know, her name is Kimberly Lovely is her name, too. A very nice woman that we have working with for as a part-time economic development intern. Next, we have the village properties report. Trustee McLaurin.
First, I have a request for approval of the additional cost of $24,980.94 for the vinyl floor base at Heritage 2. Again, this is the extra work that was required once they got the old carpeting up and saw what a mess it was underneath there. And then next I have a request to reject relinquishment of 35 to 40 feet by 200 feet area of the boat launches west parking lot permanently to become a driveway for which allows construction and future truck access to 20-plus acres of land being developed by 7EZ Consulting as a truck parking facility accommodating over 500 trucks, and to advise the MWRDGC that the Village of Alsip does not support the development of the property at 5399 West Platinum Road, Alsip, Illinois, for truck parking. And that's all I have, Mayor.
So, Trustee McLaurin, just to be clear, I put that on the agenda after I brought this up at last week's meeting. While we understand that there was some benefit to allowing, we're not saying anything about the construction aspect of it itself, but in order for this development to take place,
We aren't giving up our boat launch space.
Exactly. We're relinquishing that much of our parking lot at the boat launch, and personally, it's just
You don't
my
have the
thoughts on
space
it.
to
but
give up.
It's a lot of space to give up when parking's at a premium. You know, the east park, this is the west parking lot, just so everybody understands. The east parking lot is going to be developed by the Morton Arboretum, so it's going to be an entire green space. Mike, there won't be any parking on the east side at all, right? No. Right. So the west parking lot is not only going to assume parking for all that greenery that's going in, they're putting in like 500 trees and a park type of atmosphere and all that kind of thing yet too. And we got a nice, how much was our grant? 240,000, something like that? 60,000 to get that done. And so parking, in my opinion, would be at a premium where everybody now, for anybody launching a boat, is going to be in the west parking lot, as well as anybody coming to visit that green space. And for us to give up, let's just say a 40-foot by 200-foot area, I think is substantial, not to mention the maintenance involved and everything else then too, you know, to the roads that come to it. So if they can work out something coming from the other direction, that's certainly up to them, but we're still talking about giving up our parking lot. So, and that's all I wanted to bring up to here was us giving up our, what valuable space we have left. And we have to, and if we did give that up, we have to renegotiate that with MWRD. And just so everyone's clear too, MWRD, GC is the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District's General Counsel, correct, Joe?
Greater Chicago.
Greater Chicago, I apologize. Greater Chicago. That will, we'll acknowledge the same with them, because they've had conversations with us, and Roger, if I understand correctly, everything is contingent on our acceptance.
That is correct.
Before that development can take place. All right. So we're not identifying with the property, we're just talking their property, we're talking about ours right now, that's all. All right. Next is the ordinance legislation. Trustee Zelinski?
There's no report tonight.
Okay. Planning and zoning and licenses, Trustee Juarez.
I have an approval of a list of license dated April 12th, 2001. I'm sorry, 2021 through April 23rd, 2021. That's all, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Did anyone have any presentations, petitions, or communications they wanted to share? Okay. Did anyone have anything they'd like to remove from the consent agenda?
Well, letter B as in boy has been removed.
Right.
And Mayor, I'm going to put you down as having removed it.
Pardon?
I'm going to put you down as having.
All right, then can I get a motion, please, to establish the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
This is roll call number 1 to establish the consent agenda. Again, letter B as in boy has been removed. Trustee Dalzell?
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski?
Yes.
Trustee Juarez?
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy is absent this evening. Trustee Navas-Sparza?
Yes.
Motion carries to establish the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda is presented.
Second.
Okay, folks, bear with me. This is roll call number 2 to approve the consent agenda. Again, letter B as in boy has been removed. Letter G as in George, approval of a list of payroll dated April 23rd, 2021, totaling $433,333.92. Letter H as in Henry is approval of a list of accounts payable dated May 3rd, 2021, totaling $275,316.73. Letter J as in Jump, approval of an ordinance amending Chapter 18, Taxation, Article 5, Hotel and Motel Occupancy Tax of the Municipal Code of the Village of Alsip, will now be known as Ordinance Number 2021-5-1. Letter O, approval of a proposed fiscal year 2022 water rate ordinance, with a motion also to have the attorney review the current proposal and draft an ordinance. Since our next meeting is a committee meeting, the board would be able to make an amendment if needed. Letter P as in Paul is approval of an ordinance authorizing the execution of a sales tax sharing agreement by and between the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois, and Lenny's Gas and Wash 127th and Costner LLC for approximately 3.94 acres of land located on the southeast corner of 127th Street and Costner Avenue in the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois, will be known as ordinance number 2021-05-2. Again, this is roll call number 2 to approve the consent agenda as presented. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy is absent. Trustee Navas Esparza.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. So we'll go back to the item that was removed from the consent agenda. This is letter B. Again, the approval regarding RFPs submitted for redevelopment of property owned by the Village of Alsip at 11638 through 58 South Pulaski. Obviously, letter A identified with constructing a 6,000 square foot strip center. Letter B was the approval to construct a Starbucks drive-through coffee shop. Attorney Kenkar, you recommend you want somebody to make a motion for either one? You want to do it that way? Okay.
Okay. So again, this is letter B, approval regarding RFPs submitted for the redevelopment of property owned by the Village of Alsip at 11638-58 South Pulaski Avenue. Letter A, approval of the RFP request for proposal submitted for the redevelopment of property owned by the Village of Alsip at 11638 to 58 South Pulaski to become Fire, Water, Barbecue, and Brew, constructing a new 6,000 square foot strip center, 3,600 square feet restaurant with 127 seats plus outdoor seating next to a 1,200 square foot Naperville Diamond Gallery, jewelry store next to a 1,200 square foot Salerno's Italian takeout restaurant. Again, I would need a motion and a second for item B, letter A.
Well, it would be, it's either or, so whichever one, whoever wants to make a motion to approve the Firewater or approve the Starbucks.
Right.
So do them simultaneously?
No,
Oh.
just somebody
No,
makes a motion.
someone makes a
Okay.
motion for A or B.
I'll make a
that's all.
motion to approve letter B, item B, letter A, for Firewater.
Second.
Okay, so this is roll call number 3 to approve letter B/A. Motion was made by Trustee Juarez and seconded by Trustee Dalzell. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy is absent this evening. Trustee Navas Esparza.
No.
Motion carries to approve letter B/A for Fire, Water, Barbecue, and Brew. I'm sorry, Trustee, okay.
All right, thank you very much. So,
Along with that, though, Mayor,
yes.
during our discussion before, we had talked about some caveats to this. The single reservation that I had with regards to the Firewater was milestones and consequences. Is there an ability for us, and it would have been my recommendation for either of these two, is that rather than just going what we've done in the past, is to put in some sanctions that if they don't follow through with what they've promised.
Time you're going to be renegotiating with them.
I'm sorry, Attorney Kankar, could I ask you to step up to a microphone, or hand a microphone? Thank you, Chief.
So this will be the third time you're renegotiating this agreement with them. I'm just afraid that once you let this property go, once they close, it's never going to, I'm afraid that it's going to sit there forever.
And that's,
That was my issue with it.
and that's exactly what
That's what we have a
they've
fear
laid
of.
out here, they said this is what they're going to do, they promised us previously, and
I can do what I can.
Absolutely. Well, I can share with you, I had an email from Matt Wild today, just I'll share for the record too. Said, good luck tonight, Mayor. He says, keep us updated. My next communication after tonight's meeting will be to the title company, yourself, and Mr. Kankar to set a closing date within the next 2 weeks. And at that point, the bank will release the funds, and we... That was from the governor. They dressed up the was that hanger
There's a
that dressed up that flag. Within the next 2 weeks, and at that point, the bank will release funds, and we can immediately apply for a demolition permit, lock rating, and underground rough construction and so forth yet, too.
So I will say that right now, there's no redevelopment agreement, so we'll need to come back with an ordinance for you guys to approve the redevelopment agreement, which is where I'll try to build in some safeguards.
Thank you.
You know what?
So it's not going to happen in 2 weeks.
Okay. Joe, do we, is it possible to have that for next week's meeting, that RDA? Okay. In other words, I got to call a special meeting for water anyway, so if that happens, let me know.
I honestly, I wouldn't rush it.
Okay?
We've waited since 2017 for Clearwater anyway. A couple weeks would be fine.
All right. Very good. Anyway, I wanted to let you share with you, yes, he's on it, and he understands that we want to see this get done sooner than later, too.
But to the attorney's point, closing on the property means nothing.
Well, as Joe said, we'll have to put some caveats in there. Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you, Joe.
All I can do is build in a reverter clause into it, which says if you don't meet these milestones by this, the property will come back to the village of Alsip. But that just means you're going to be in court. I'm dealing with the same issue in McCook right now for a hotel project that didn't meet milestones, right? So we're filing a case to get the property back. So yes, it's possible that you get the property back, but you're going to be in litigation. So that's, but I'll build in the safeguards.
What about a cash deposit so that we can offset the litigation costs too? Yeah, just take your credit card number.
Yeah. I know we've all sampled his food before and so forth, but I tell you, we're going to be happy with this in the end. I was actually, I've got a place up in Sister Lakes, and we were at his place. He has a brewery up there, and we were up there Saturday night, and the food's amazing. So I'm really looking forward to something great happening here yet too. Anybody
Did you
likes?
start building that in 1950?
Yeah, I'll tell you, no, that's a brand new joint. That's a brand new brewery up there yet too. But my wife is stuck on the caramelized Brussels sprouts, so we'll see how that shakes out. Next, anyone have any unfinished business? Any new business?
Can we acknowledge our police department representative?
Oh,
this
sure.
evening?
Lieutenant Katowski, Todd Katowski's with us tonight. Todd, are you going to be a regular at the meetings? Nice. Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry, you were very
exactly,
quiet,
yeah.
and I just couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I
Lieutenant.
will add real quick, and I don't want to, I just got this just 2 hours ago from Chief Miller. He had kind of a rough weekend, and with a couple issues in town, but we had a good moment, too, where Margaret Wilder saved a baby's life this weekend. Apparently a 4-month-old baby, it was the family called in, baby wasn't breathing, baby unresponsive, and Officer Wilder got to the house before the fire department did, and did some back compressions and saved the baby's life, got the baby breathing
God
again.
bless.
So we're going to acknowledge her at an upcoming meeting coming up. I just heard that a little while ago yet, too. So congratulations to Margaret, great job. Then I'll ask motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll adjourn this meeting at 8:05. Everyone, please enjoy your evening, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.